Hi Lauren, this is your Uncle Earl. I'm making this quick little video to help demonstrate some of the shading techniques that I've learned, over the years. Um, the most important thing to keep in mind when you're shading is to use black as little as possible. Black doesn't really occur naturally in a lot of colors. You only use black to give some strength and darkness to things that you have trouble giving some darkness to. But most of the time you can avoid using it or using it very sparingly. So just keep that in mind. So I'm going to demonstrate my approach, okay? So the first thing we got to know is what the primary colors are. So the primary colors are red, blue, and yellow, okay? These three colors, red, blue, and yellow, can be combined to make three more colors. Give it a little more yellow here so it looks like it's blending better. Alright, so as you can see, I just made a quick little color wheel, and I have three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, and where they intersect, I get three more colors. I get green when yellow and blue intersect, I get purple when red and blue intersect, and I get orange when yellow and red intersect, okay? So, now we have six colors. And we have three pairs of opposite colors. So the way it works is blue would be the opposite of orange because blue is not used to make orange. So these two colors, blue and orange, are considered complementary colors. And then green and red are complementary or opposite colors because red isn't used to make green. And then lastly, yellow is complementary to purple because yellow isn't used to make purple, okay? Now, that's important to know. You should memorize those opposites, those complementary colors, because you can use complementary colors to shade. And when you do that, when you use complementary colors to shade, you get a more natural shading. So to demonstrate that, I'm going to draw a banana, okay? So banana's a yellow, so I'm going to use my yellow color here. All right, and I'm going to draw just a small banana so we can get this done kind of fast here. All right. All right, that's a weird banana. We'll go with it though. Okay, it's a weird shape. Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit more depth down here, okay? There we go, that works better. We'll color it in. I'm going to use circles for the most part. When you shade in circles, you hide your stroke direction, which is always important. Hopefully yeah, you can see that. I can tell you can see that. I was worried that the camera wasn't going to pick it up. Okay. Okay. Now normally I wouldn't color in the whole banana all at once like this. I would work in section at a time, but since we're doing a quick video and it's a small banana, I'll just color the whole thing in, okay? Alright, so here's my little banana. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I'm going to shade using black to show you what not to do, and that way later on you can compare it to the correct shading technique where it'll look more natural, okay? So I'm going to shade this portion of the banana with black. All right, so I'm going to start with creating the little ridge because bananas kind of have they have panels, right? They're not just round, they look like almost like a pencil does, right? They have like hexagonal pattern to them, to their shape, to their cross section. So I'm going to imply a panel by shading in some black here. Okay. And I'm being very light with my touch because one of the problems with black is that it's overpowering. It wants to just cover everything you draw it over, hiding the color that was once there. That's the first problem with black. I'm going to shade a little darker at the bottom because at the bottom there's no light getting in there. So I want to make it look that way. When there's no light, there's no color. Well, actually, there is some color, and that's why we're going to do it a little bit differently later. Okay? Then I'm going to blend it outwards. Just leave this other half of the banana kind of untouched because I'm going to use that for the second half of the demonstration, okay? So there is my banana, okay, with the black, all right? Now, I'm going to now pick out a purple color, okay? Here's my purple. I'm going to sharpen my pencil because the tip wasn't very sharp, okay? And I always roll the tip a little bit to get rid of any excess kind of chalkiness. So I get a nice tip there. Okay, now I'm going to use purple to do this side. Now when I do purple over here, you're going to notice right away that it looks more natural. This looks okay, and you'd show this to your friends and family, and they would say, man, you're the best artist ever. And they would be right. But there's a better way to do it, okay? And you'll see immediately over here, I hope. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over just so I have a better arc to draw with. Okay? And remember, this is purple, okay? See, it's purple. I hope you can tell that that's purple. Here, I'll color over there. See, that's a purple for sure, okay? But when it blends with the yellow, since they're opposites, we don't get purple anymore. We get this kind of darker, natural looking shadow color. Okay? Continue the ridge over here. Like this. And there's like, let's say there's like a little dark patch at the end, right? There's always like a square at the end of the banana, right? Right, where it's dark, so I'm going to darken that in like that, okay? Then bring my shading up here. And see, you can already see that the color looks way more natural, all right? It doesn't look like it's just black drawn over yellow. It looks now like it's just a darker version of yellow. All right. Give it a little bit more lead. Okay. And then I'm going to darken it towards the bottom for the same reason I explained before. There's less light getting in there. I'm going to blend it outwards. All right, so banana's looking pretty good. Now, on the upper side here, there's still a little bit of shadow. We're going to apply the ridge that separates the panels by just lightly coloring this in too. Now, I'm not going for perfection here because I'm just trying to keep this short and sweet. So I'm just going to do just a little bit of this off color I call it off color because it's not, it's the opposite of yellow, so it's like, it's off. I don't know, it makes sense to me in my head. Okay? Okay. All right. Now we got to do something up here. This is the stem, and the stem usually has some like fibrous frays, some little burrs on it, all right? So I'm gonna just make that stuff up right here. Do it real dark, but again, I'm using purple, okay? Even though in your mind it looks black, all right? You gotta look at what it really looks like. Okay? Use that purple, blends with the yellow, and it creates a nice, natural looking shadow color, okay? And then blend some of this. Okay. Now here's when you would want to use black. At the very extreme end of the shadow, we need some definition. So at the very bottom of the banana, we're going to use some black. Okay. So just use a little black outline there, and then I'm going to blend it up just a little bit, lightly touching the paper. Now we're giving it even more depth, giving it more shape. Okay. Up here I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to use a lot of black up here because there is a lot of black in this area, right? There is, that rotted stem portion is blackish. So it's okay to use black in that area. All right. So if you take a gander now, what you see is that on this side, it's a lot more natural looking than this side. This side looks good, but the black is overwhelming everything. This looks way more natural. Okay? So now we have to cast a shadow. It looks like the banana's floating in space, which would be cool, I guess, right? It's cool that it's floating in space, but we need this to be on a table to make it look realistic because we're not floating in space. So, in order to make it look like it's floating on a table, we have to cast a shadow. Now the light source looks like it's coming from, I'll use yellow, because light source looks like it's coming from this direction, okay? Maybe behind it and casting forward. So that would mean that the banana's shadow would be out like this, okay? Something like that, okay? We're just gonna do a very subtle shadow. And notice I'm coloring in with yellow. That's not a mistake, that's purpose. I'm doing that on purpose. The reason why is because the color of the object that's casting the shadow imbues or tints that shadow with its color. So a yellow object will have a slightly yellow tinted color to it. A red object will have a shadow that's tinted slightly red. The reason for that is when light bounces around the room, it will bounce off of the object onto the table or whatever the surface is, and that reflected light will have a tint that is matching the color of the object. So that's why I'm going to start with yellow. Okay. Then, to make the shadow look natural, I'm going to use purple. Okay. Alright. Let's go out a little bit further. Blend it out a little bit more. Just be gentle. Use some yellow, go back over top because that purple is not sitting on yellow, so I'm going to blend it back in. Okay. Alright. Cool. Alright. Quick and dirty job here. Now I'm going to go darker underneath the banana because there's less light getting in there. Alright. And then blending it outwards so it gets lighter as we get out to the edge. And so on. And then I'm going to introduce some black because we need the shadow to at least have some black near the bottom of the banana because the bottom of the banana has some black. It doesn't look connected, and it should look connected. If this color is different than that color, if that shadow is different than that, it won't look like they are near each other. So we're going to make them look like they're near each other by pulling some black in, just like that. So you want the shadow of the two surfaces to be near the same color. If they're not, then it could look like they're not near each other. Then I blend this black outwards. Now notice because I'm putting the black in over top of two other colors, the black isn't having as much of an impact. It's blending more. And it's still retaining the tint of that purpley yellow that was underneath of it. And it looks more natural. It doesn't just look like black gradation. And gradually blending this out. I'm just making stuff up. This isn't probably accurate, but hey, it works. Okay, I'm going to go back over that last little bit with some yellow because we didn't put any yellow out there. And then a little bit of purple because we didn't put purple out there either. We don't want that black sitting by itself. Okay, all right. So, here's the close-up of what we've done so far. Hopefully that's in focus. So notice that this side looks more realistic than that side. And it's because we used complementary colors to do the most of the shading and only used black sparingly, only for the darkest parts. Okay, Lauren, I hope that helps. Make something of your own and show it to me. I'd love to see all of your artwork, so share it all, okay? I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.